Hello, my wonderful English learners, and welcome back to Let's Practice English. I'm your host, Christine, and I am so happy you've decided to spend a little bit of your day with me. Whether you're commuting to work, washing the dishes, or just taking a quiet moment for yourself, thank you for making this podcast a part of your English learning journey. I want you to picture a scene. It's the end of the day, you see a friend, a colleague, or maybe you get a phone call from a family member. They smile and ask you that classic everyday question, "So, how was your day?" And in that moment, what happens? For so many of us, our minds go a little bit blank. We search for the right words, but under pressure, we fall back on the same old tired phrases. It was good. Fine, thanks. Oh, busy. Does that sound familiar? You know that feeling, right? It's that feeling of a missed opportunity. You had a whole day. Things happened. Maybe something funny, something frustrating, something wonderful. You have a story to tell, but you feel like you don't have the right English words to tell it. So the conversation ends there. Good, busy, and you move on. It can feel a little unsatisfying, almost like you're invisible. And it certainly doesn't help you practice your English. Well, today we are going to change that. We are going to build your confidence and give you the language you need to answer that simple question in a much more interesting, personal, and authentic way. Think of this episode as your new toolkit for daily storytelling. I'm going to give you a simple but powerful framework that will help you structure your thoughts and share your experiences. By the end of this episode, you will have a clear 3-part framework and a collection of fantastic, natural phrases to talk about your day with confidence and personality. You won't just say your day was good, you'll be able to show why it was good. You won't just say you were busy, you'll be able to paint a picture of what that busy day actually looked like. Ready to unlock this new communication superpower? Let's begin. All right, so our goal is to tell a mini story about our day. The best stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So our framework is going to follow that exact same logic. We're going to break down how to talk about your day into 3 main parts. Part 1, the morning, setting the scene. Part 2, the middle of the day, the main action. And Part 3, the evening, winding down. And after we cover those 3 parts, I'll give you a bonus tip on how to add extra flavor and emotion to your story. Let's start at the beginning. First up, part 1, the morning, setting the scene. The morning often sets the tone for the entire day. Was it a calm start or a chaotic one? When you answer, "How was your day?" starting with a little detail about your morning can be a great way to begin your story. Instead of just saying, "I woke up and went to work," let's try some more descriptive phrases. If you had a difficult or slow morning, you could say, "I got off to a slow start." This is a wonderful, natural phrase. It means you weren't very energetic or productive at the beginning of the day. For example, "My day was okay. I got off to a slow start though. I think I needed more coffee." Another option is, "It was a bit of a rough morning. This is great if things went wrong." You could say, "To be honest, it was a bit of a rough morning. I overslept and then I missed my bus, so I was late for my first meeting." Or, if your journey was bad, "My commute was a nightmare." For example, "My commute was an absolute nightmare this morning. There was an accident on the motorway and it took me 2 hours to get to the office."
Now, what if you had a great energetic morning? You could say, "I hit the ground running." This is a fantastic idiom that means you started the day with a lot of energy. For example, "It was intense. I had a huge project deadline, so I hit the ground running as soon as I got to my desk." Or, more simply, "I had a really productive morning." For example, "My day was actually really good. I had a super productive morning and finished 3 big tasks before lunch." So, for part 1, you're just setting the scene. Think about how your day began and choose one of these phrases to start your story. Now let's move to part 2, the middle of the day, the main action. This is the core of your story. This is where the main events happened. It covers your work, your studies, your errands, whatever filled the main part of your day. This is where we can replace the boring word busy. If your day was filled with work and tasks, you could say, I was swamped with work. To be swamped is to be completely flooded with something. For instance, I was totally swamped with work today, and I still have more to do. Or another visual phrase is, I was buried in emails. You could say, whew, what a day. I spent the entire afternoon just buried in emails. Or, if you had many meetings, you can say, I had back-to-back meetings all day. Back-to-back means one after the other with no break. For example, I'm exhausted. I had back-to-back meetings from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. But maybe something significant happened. For a positive event, you could say, the highlight of my day was. This is one of my favorite phrases. A highlight is the best part. The highlight of my day was getting an email from my boss saying she loved my presentation. Or, if you made progress on something difficult, you could say, I finally had a breakthrough on. A breakthrough is a moment of sudden success. I finally had a breakthrough on that difficult coding problem I've been working on all week. For a challenging event, you could say, I hit a wall with. Hitting a wall is the opposite of a breakthrough. It means you can't make any more progress. I was trying to finish the report, but I hit a wall. Or you can say, the most frustrating part was. This helps you pinpoint a specific moment. The most frustrating part was when my computer crashed and I lost an hour of work. See how these phrases tell a much richer story? You're sharing an actual experience. Okay, let's talk about part 3, the evening winding down. You've set the scene and described the main action. Now it's time to bring your story to a close. How did you end your day? To wind down means to relax after a period of activity. Here are some phrases. I'm looking forward to just relaxing tonight. This shows your plan and your feeling. For example, it was a long day. I'm looking forward to just relaxing on the sofa with a good book. You could also say, I'm going to unwind by, followed by an activity, like watching a movie. If you cooked, you could say, I just whipped up a quick dinner. To whip something up means to cook something quickly. And if you're exhausted, you might say, I just crashed on the sofa. You can also end by describing your energy level. Instead of I'm tired, try I'm completely wiped out or I'm beat. On the other hand, if you feel good, you could say, I'm feeling surprisingly energized. Let's put it all together in a quick example. Someone asks, how was your day? You could say, oh, it was pretty intense. I got off to a slow start, but things really picked up after my first coffee. I was buried in emails all morning, but the highlight of my day was finally getting some positive feedback on that project I submitted. Now I'm pretty wiped out, so I'm just planning to whip up a quick dinner and crush on the sofa. That is a complete, engaging, and authentic story. Now for a bonus tip, the flavor layer, adding adjectives and adverbs. These little words are your secret weapon for adding emotion and personality. Think about adverbs like surprisingly, thankfully, unfortunately, actually, or ridiculously.
Instead of my commute was long, try my commute was ridiculously long. Instead of the meeting was short, try thankfully the meeting was quite short. You can also use descriptive adjectives. Was it a long meeting, a boring meeting, an inspiring meeting? Let's upgrade our full example. Oh, it was actually a pretty intense day. I got off to a terribly slow start, but things really picked up. I was buried in a ridiculous number of emails, but the highlight of my day was finally getting some really positive feedback on that project. Now, I'm completely wiped out, so thankfully I'm just planning to whip up a simple dinner and crash on the sofa. Do you hear how much more personality that has? All right, let's take a deep breath and recap the powerful toolkit we've built today. To move beyond fine and busy, we can use a simple three-part storytelling framework to talk about our day. First, the morning to set the scene. Then, the middle of the day for your main story. And finally, the evening to wind down the story. And don't forget the flavor layer, adverbs and adjectives to bring your story to life. Now it's time for the Let's Practice English challenge. The next time someone asks you about your day, I want you to try using just one new phrase from this episode in your answer. Just one. Maybe it's the highlight of my day was, or I was swamped with work. Pick one phrase that feels good to you. And if you're feeling brave, try to add one adverb too, like actually or thankfully. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to try. Remember, that question, how was your day, is an invitation. It's an invitation to share a small piece of your life, to connect with another person, and to practice the beautiful language you are working so hard to master. Your daily life is interesting, and your story is worth telling. With this new toolkit, I know you have the confidence to share it. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was truly the highlight of my day. Until next time, keep practicing, stay curious, and be kind to yourself. This is Christine signing off.